1975, a name that will forever be etched in the annals of covert scientific exploration, Project MKUltra. A clandestine program disguised under the guise of research into behavioral modification and mind control, orchestrated by the United States Central Intelligence Agency. This chilling revelation only came to light through a mere 20,000 documents that surfaced in 1977, after the Church Committee investigation, revealing an intricate web of manipulation and experimentation on human subjects. But what else lies hidden in the shadowy corners of government-approved labs? Welcome to the Lost Lab, where we delve into the enigma of suppressed inventions, classified experiments, and concealed science. Today, we embark upon a two-part series exploring the 10 most dangerous experiments, the government-approved. We'll uncover real stories that have been buried deep within the vaults of classified agencies, each more astounding than the last. Our journey begins in 1951 with Project SHAD, or Shipboard Hazard and Defense. Funded by the U.S. Department of Defense, this initiative involved testing chemical and biological weapons on military personnel aboard ships at sea. The objective? To determine vulnerabilities and develop effective countermeasures against potential attacks. While seemingly crucial during the Cold War era, it wasn't until 2002 that the details were declassified, revealing the harrowing reality faced by those involved. Next up is Edgewood Arsenal's experimentation with BZ, a potent hallucinogenic compound. From 1952 to 1975, this gas was tested on thousands of soldiers without their consent, leading to prolonged psychosis and terrifying hallucinations. Despite its discontinuation due to ethical concerns, the effects of BZ are still being studied today. Fast forward to 1968 when NASA conducted a series of secret radiation experiments known as Program 437. Unbeknownst to the public, they exposed unsuspecting civilians to harmful levels of ionizing radiation during high-altitude flights. The purpose? To analyze potential health risks for astronauts in space, but at what cost? In part 1 of our investigation, we've barely scratched the surface of these mind-bending experiments. As we delve deeper into this labyrinth, prepare to question everything you thought you knew about science and ethics. Stay tuned for the 10 most dangerous experiments. The government approved, a journey that promises to redefine the boundaries of what is considered possible in the name of progress. As we delve into the backstory of the 10 most dangerous experiments, the government approved, it's crucial to examine the key players involved. These are not mere shadowy figures operating from the shadows. Rather, they are respectable agencies and institutions driven by a complex interplay of politics, national security, and scientific curiosity. Our first stop is the Manhattan Project, infamous for developing the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Under the watchful eye of the United States Army, this top-secret project brought together some of the brightest minds in physics, including Robert Oppenheimer and Enrico Fermi. The result? A weapon so powerful it changed the course of history, but also opened up an ethical Pandora's box that still haunts us today. Next, let's take a look at MKUltra, the Central Intelligence Agency's mind control program. Launched in the 1950s at the height of the Cold War, this clandestine operation aimed to explore the possibilities of manipulating human consciousness. Unsettling as it may sound, experiments included administering LSD to unsuspecting subjects, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and verbal and sexual abuse. Despite public outrage when details were revealed, many documents remain classified, leaving much shrouded in mystery. Department of Defense has also been associated with controversial research. Project SHAD, for instance, involved testing chemical and biological weapons on military personnel during the Vietnam War. Although declassified in 2002, the full extent of these tests remains unknown due to lost records and missing data. Across the pond, the UK's Medical Research Council funded a series of disturbing studies during the mid-20th century. One such example is the Scottish X-ray and Radium Laboratories experiments, where hundreds of pregnant women were exposed to radiation without informed consent. Decades later, links were drawn between these procedures and increased rates of cancer among their offspring. These examples merely scratch the surface of this murky world. Other governments, too, have been implicated in similar activities, often justified under the guise of national security or scientific advancement. While some argue that these experiments push the boundaries of knowledge, others see them as blatant violations of human rights and medical ethics. So why do such questionable practices continue to this day? Perhaps it's because the line between pioneering science and ethical transgression is often blurred, or maybe it's due to the allure of power and control that such research offers. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear, as we venture further into the 10 most dangerous experiments. The government approved. Prepare for a journey that will challenge your perceptions and leave you questioning the true cost of progress. As we delve deeper into this complex topic, it's crucial to understand the science that powered these government-approved experiments. The line between groundbreaking research and ethical transgression is indeed blurred, especially when national security or scientific progress is at stake. Take, for instance, Project MKUltra, a series of CIA mind control experiments conducted during the 1950s and 60s. Central to these studies was the use of LSD, a potent hallucinogenic drug. Scientists dosed unsuspecting subjects, including soldiers, prostitutes, and mental patients, in an attempt to manipulate their thoughts and actions. Today, while LSD remains illegal due to its psychological risks, it's being explored in controlled clinical settings for treating conditions like depression and anxiety disorders. Another example is the infamous radiation experiments conducted by the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission post-World War II. Unbeknownst to thousands of citizens, they were exposed to dangerous levels of radiation to study its effects on human health. Shockingly, some of this research was carried out without any form of consent. Although ethically abhorrent, these studies contributed significantly to our current understanding of radiation's impact on the human body. Moving forward, we encounter Project SHOD, which involved the U.S. Navy exposing its personnel to chemical and biological weapons during sea trials. While classified until 2000, declassified documents revealed that these tests exposed servicemen to harmful substances like sarin nerve gas and mustard agent, potentially causing long-term health issues. Similarly, Operation Paperclip, initiated at the close of World Turn, saw the U.S. government recruiting over 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, many of whom were involved in Nazi research programs. This included Wernher von Braun, who later became a pivotal figure in NASA's manned space program. Lastly, let's not forget the U.S. Public Health Service's syphilis study conducted in Tuskegee, Alabama between 1932 and 1972. Here, researchers observed the natural progression of untreated syphilis in rural African American men under the guise of free healthcare. No effort was made to treat the subjects or inform them of their condition, raising serious ethical questions still debated today. These examples underscore the fine line between scientific exploration and moral responsibility. They serve as stark reminders of the unanswered questions surrounding the true cost of progress. As we continue our journey through the 10 most dangerous experiments the government approved, brace yourself for more revelations that challenge your perceptions and provoke thought about the ethical implications of scientific advancement. In our exploration of the One, as we delve deeper into the 10 most dangerous experiments the government approved, the specter of a cover-up looms large. These are not mere conspiracy theories, they're questions that demand answers, grounded in verifiable facts and real science. Take Project MKUltra, for instance. Officially denounced by the CIA in 1973, this mind control research program involved administering LSD and other drugs to unsuspecting subjects, including U.S. citizens. Declassified documents reveal a vast network of covert experiments conducted across universities, hospitals, and prisons. Yet, much about MKUltra remains shrouded in mystery due to the destruction of key records. Or consider Project Sunshine, initiated by the Atomic Energy Commission in the 1950s. Its stated goal was to study the effects of nuclear fallout on human health. However, it's now known that they secretly acquired tissue samples from children without consent, leading to widespread outrage and investigations into unethical practices. The cover-up extends beyond individual projects to broader policies. For example, Freedom of Information Act requests often result in heavily redacted documents or outright denials citing national securities. This raises serious concerns about transparency and accountability when it comes to scientific research funded by taxpayers' money. Investigating these secrets can feel like peeling back layers of an onion, each one revealing another layer beneath. One such case is the death of biomedical researcher Frank Olson in 1953. Initially reported as a suicide, it was only decades later that new evidence emerged suggesting he was actually drugged and then accidentally killed during a CIA interrogation. Even today, freedom of information remains a battlefield. Consider the case of Dr. Lisa Lowe, who filed a FOIA lawsuit against the Department of Defense after her requests for information about Gulf War syndrome were denied. Her struggle highlights the ongoing fight for transparency in government-funded research. The question then becomes, why? Why hide behind secrecy and lies when science is supposed to be about discovery and truth? The answer may lie in the potential implications of these experiments, both financial and reputational. Admitting mistakes could open floodgates of litigation and public distrust, potentially halting progress in its tracks. Yet, this culture of secrecy has far-reaching consequences. It undermines public trust in science and government, creating a breeding ground for conspiracy theories. More importantly, it denies us the opportunity to learn from our past, hindering our ability to make informed decisions about future scientific endeavors. As we move forward in our exploration of the 10 most dangerous experiments the government approved, let us remember these words by President John F. Kennedy. The very word secrecies is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are as a people inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. Keep this spirit in mind as we navigate the murky waters of state-sanctioned scientific experiments, uncovering truths that some would prefer remain hidden. As we've delved into the clandestine world of government-approved experiments, it's impossible not to ponder on their far-reaching implications. The consequences of these dangerous undertakings are as complex and multifaceted as the experiments themselves. They reverberate through time, affecting not only those involved, but also generations that follow. Take Project MKUltra, for instance, the infamous mind control program run by the CIA during the Cold War era. Although most of the records were destroyed in 1973 under orders from then-director Richard Helms, what remains is chilling enough. Hundreds of experiments conducted on unwitting citizens, military personnel, and even children left a trail of psychological devastation that continues to impact lives today. While many victims have come forward, seeking acknowledgement and compensation, the government response has been lackluster at best. Or consider the radiological warfare tests conducted by the US military between 1945 and 1962, codenamed Operation Hardtack. Over 30 nuclear devices were detonated in the Pacific Proving Grounds, subjecting thousands of service members and civilians to high levels of radiation. Decades later, these individuals started developing various types of cancer, yet the Department of Defense initially denied any link between their health issues and participation in the tests. It wasn't until 1990 that President George H.W. Bush signed the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, providing financial relief to some of the victims. However, many more were left out, their suffering unacknowledged and uncompensated. Fast forward to the present day, where the consequences of these historical experiments continue to unfold. In 2018, the Department of Energy released a report admitting that radioactive contamination from past nuclear weapons tests had spread much farther than previously acknowledged, potentially affecting millions more people. Meanwhile, descendants of MKUltra subjects still grapple with the intergenerational effects of trauma and mental illness. The question then becomes, how many more secrets are still hidden? How many more lives will be impacted by decisions made behind closed doors? As we uncover these truths, one thing is clear. The aftermath of government-approved experiments is a tangled web of unanswered questions, unresolved grievances, and lingering doubts. And so, we're left with an unsettling realization. Despite our best efforts to shine a light on these shadowy corners of science, there are truths that remain elusive, buried deep within the labyrinthine structures of power and bureaucracy. But rest assured, this is only part one. In our next episode, we'll delve deeper into the abyss, uncovering more stories of state-sanctioned scientific experiments that continue to haunt us. Until then, stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, sometimes, the real horror lies not in the experiment itself, but in its aftermath.